So why would we do this whole personal interest project process? Well, we've touched on it quite a bit already. To go into a little bit more depth, we want to get kids excited to learn. You know, you've heard another buzz term, engagement. We need kids engaged in their learning. Well, what does that mean? That's just good old-fashioned fun, what we refer to. It's got to be exciting. What makes a kid excited? That's a really important question. That's probably more important than the question, how can we personalize learning? How can we get kids excited about their learning? Next, how can we get them to take charge? How can we get them to feel like they've got their hands behind the wheel of this learning vehicle and they're the ones driving and making decisions, and we are like co-pilots, we're giving some information, we've got a map that we can share with them and they decide to take the route that we share or not. It's all about turning it over to these guys so that they can really feel like they are agents. They have agency in their lives. They are empowered. We are the guides on the side, the facilitators. Next, we want to teach kids advanced skills. This isn't just like, here's an assignment, go do something fun, see in a couple weeks when it's done and I'll grade it. Like, we are there, we are facilitating, and what that means is that at every step we're rolling up our sleeves and we are there with the students, giving them those questions, those provocations that's going to push the inquiry deeper. We're going to teach them critical thinking. We're going to empower them with critical thinking strategies. So we're not just going to say, be creative. We're going to say, let's talk about what creativity is. What does it look like? What is our criteria for creativity? Here are some strategies that have worked for people who are really creative. Let's practice some of these strategies. How can these strategies be used to your benefit when you're doing your personal interest project? Another advanced skill, metacognition. We've heard a lot about that in connection with mindfulness and reflective learning. We want kids to be thinking about their thinking processes. So literally like peeling back the lid on that black box of the mind and saying, what's going on in there? How does the brain work? How am I thinking? What am I thinking about? And why has my inquiry progressed in this certain direction when I intended it to go in this direction? How can I steer things back on course? How can I change my mindset or just readjust? Like, if kids are engaged on that level, ooh, that is good. That's when things are really going in depth, and I just get goosebumps thinking about it. Advanced skills, more advanced skills that we want project skills, so they are involved at every stage with envisioning, with planning, with creating specific achievable goals. Presentation skills. This is a new world. Kids are not just doing the traditional tri-folded cardboard science fair project where their parents made them a volcano and, or styrofoam astronomy solar system. Like, we've got to move past the cookie cutter project. We've got to get to the point where they're using presentation skills across multiple modes. So we've got all these technologies now, and we can use them, we can harness them in unique ways, and we can go back to good old-fashioned ways of communicating. Just good old-fashioned oration, speaking, getting kids to harness their drawing skills, their writing skills, their dance skills, their technology skills, but more than that, it's about what is the kid good at. What is their intelligence area? Howard Gardner talked a lot about the multiple intelligences, which is a theory he proposed that we all have these different abilities. So, you could have bodily kinesthetic ability, verbal linguistic, visual spatial, the classic logical mathematical, like all of those abilities are in people in different levels, and we can tap in and encourage kids to use those abilities that they have that are really strong, those strengths, and create something and present it using those strengths. We got to develop our areas for growth, our weaknesses, but we got to We got to expand our strengths. You know, as Malcolm Gladwell wrote about in The Outliers, that concept of success and excellence coming from an investment of about 10,000 hours in a pursuit. I mean, that's just such a neat idea. Genius, you know, sometimes it's inborn to some extent, but you got to work it. You got to invest that time. How can we teach kids those advanced skills? Next, creation. So the act of creating. How does it feel when you go from nothingness and you create a something that you can share with the world? That very magic of producing something out of nothing, that is an intrinsic good in itself. And when kids are involved in that process, they feel alive. They feel like life is meaningful. Learning is meaningful. We want to emphasize this process. Kids are creators. They are constructors of knowledge. They're constructors of wisdom. They are designers of the future. We always say that kids are the future, but I don't believe that, because kids are the present. They are the now. The future belongs to them, and today belongs to them as well. Let's not wait to create. Let's get going on that. Make a difference. What if a kid creates something and they've thought about it in such a way that they recognize that it actually has an impact in the world, and that they are making something that is making the world a better place, maybe in a small way, maybe in a big way. Maybe they design, let's say, a viral video campaign that draws attention to some cause, like the need for clean drinking water in a developing country. And they apply all their creativity and they create this video campaign, and it goes out there and it shares information and it increases awareness. And then they go to the next level and they start finding a way to raise funds and support the development of something that's going to help produce cleaner drinking water for somebody in another place. I mean, that would be awesome. And you can have those sort of social justice focused personal interest projects, or you can take something that doesn't seem like it would have a social justice bent, or that might not have a global impact, but get kids thinking about how that might make a difference for someone, for themselves, for anyone in the world. Because everything we do, we hope should have meaning, right? Maybe it's just meaning for ourselves, but it could be even bigger than that. And as facilitators, we're helping kids to draw out that meaning for them. Build confidence. If we do all this, if kids are engaged in every step, they're going to get to the point where they feel confident. They have created something, they have made something, it's made a difference. It's impossible not to feel good about that. They decided, they had agency, they feel empowered. That's going to build confidence. Now, we're talking about achievement so much in school as well. You know, we've got so many, you know, the idea of standardized tests and how everything has to measure up and be results oriented. And I think it's important that we still keep an eye on achievement. It's about how are we measuring it? You know, is it a multiple choice test, you know, fill in the boxes? Well, that's probably not the best measuring tool to be measuring achievement, right? How can we measure impact? How can we acknowledge impact is probably a better question. How can we learn to see it? And part of this whole process is teaching kids to see when their effort has had a positive impact, and to plan for that and to aim for that. So exciting. I just love this process. And well, I would love to go into more depth with you and talk more about actually some of the strategies for how we do this on like a tactical level. So what I've got for you is I've been preparing this 3-part video training course on personal interest projects, where I'm going to go in depth and share with you everything that I've seen on sort of like a big picture level, but also a framework that I've developed and I've been using with my students over the last couple of years. A framework that I've really been refining in each step of the way as I've encountered different outcomes with students as they've tried different kinds of projects. And I'm telling you that this framework actually works with any project that you could encounter. So whether a kid is doing something in the sciences or a writing project or an illustration project or, you know, sort of a research, anthropological study, like this process can support them every step of the way. And so what I'm calling it is the 10-step personal interest project framework. And what I want to do in the first video of the series is just bust down the framework and show you what each of those components are so that you can sort of see the big picture of where this could all go for your students and see that it's manageable, that it is possible, and that it is empowering, and that you can start literally today. You don't need to have all the information. You don't need to be a master of this. You don't need to have done it for years and years and years. I've been there. I've been doing this for almost a decade. I've worked with hundreds of students, and I'm telling you, there's stuff that you can learn that will shorten your learning curve and help you get the results faster so that your students are going to feel empowered, so that they're going to learn more. So if you're interested in joining me in this 3-part video training course, then just please put your name and email in the space beside this video, and I will send a link to that course as soon as it comes available. So thank you so much. As I always wish all my students, I'm going to wish you the same. Go out there every day and think critically, think creatively, and be the leaders that this world needs. I'll see you next time.